welcome back to Sunday Live, and we're talking security matters with Manoah Esipisu. He's the State House spokesperson and has had a long-serving career in communications and media. So we will touch on those issues and the security amendment bill in just a short while. First, let's take a look at your responses. We asked tonight your views on the bill itself, and let's have a look. Do you support the security laws amendment bill? And the SMS number is 22422. Start with a yes or no to keep your views coming in. There we have it. Yes, 70% right now. No, 30%. That is a fascinating result. So it seems certainly the majority right now in support of the bill. I'll read a few of the SMSs that have come in. This one says, I support the government 100%, especially in communication. How can one publish a newspaper with dead people on the front page? Somebody else, John Mutahi, says, yes, if draconian bills will curb the horrific insecurity, why not introduce detention without trial? Somebody else, I'm trying to look for a no because there are very many yeses. Okay. Ore in Nairobi says, no, we cannot hide behind insecurity and curtail the rights of patriotic citizens enshrined in the Bill of Rights. And Peterson from Wajir County says, yes, the enemy is with us and serious measures need to be taken to secure our beloved country. So lots of SMSs coming in. Keep them coming in. 22422 is the SMS number. Manoah, thank you for making time. The issue here really is not the fact that we need amendments. It's clear that we need a bill that ensures, or an act that ensures that we are able to protect Kenyan citizens. The concerns here are that we are trampling on the rights of individuals. For instance, when it comes to privacy matters, when it comes to the periods of detention that this bill allows, when it comes to the powers of the president as well. So what are your comments on these issues?
The president and the deputy president have said repeatedly that these amendments will not, in fact, impeach the current state of the Constitution. They do not negate what the Constitution says. The amendments seek to align existing rules to ensure that, in fact, they are more coherent and they make sense. So, for instance, whereas everyone does say, in fact, backstops with the president can't just fire, say, the Inspector General of Police, because the Act, the National Police Service Act, doesn't allow him to do so. So if you wish him to be the person with whom the buck stops, then you have to empower him to, in fact, be able to do that. I think there have been issues about whether you should be able to listen into conversations without a court order, for instance. But if you are dealing with a country that is at war, and we do recognize that our country is at war, then you need extraordinary measures to be able to get the intel that is required to deal with the situation. It is easy to suggest, for instance, that this may be susceptible to abuse, but the point is that it isn't, and you need to have a way in which you collect intel at all times and act on that intel to save your people.
I think, and especially when we talk about abuse, Manoah, that this is a critical issue, with some people saying it looks like we're taking Kenya back to the KANU days. And that if you do have people in power who are not interested in the best interests of the nation and are self-serving, it could be dangerous. This is the concern, I think, of a lot of the civil society organizations. This is the concern, perhaps, of the opposition, saying, hold on a minute, we're moving backwards. Are we going back to KANU days?
We have to have a balance between human rights and human life. I think we talk big about rights, but when people are killed, we equally talk big in a disgusted way. So the balance lies in us finding appropriate measures that do not necessarily interfere with your normal liberties, but which help the administration deal with the problems that it faces at the moment. Because the challenge is one of keeping you safe while keeping your liberties. Now, everyone would know that anarchy is the enemy of liberty. And if we allow anarchy to thrive, then liberty is going to be hurt. We've got to be able to reach a point where there is a fine balance where we safeguard the liberties, but we keep anarchy at bay. We can't have our cake and eat it.
Now, let's go to media specifically, Manoah, because this is your area. And media and terrorists do a dance. It's an important dance, but without the media, terrorism cannot flourish. And perhaps we as media acknowledge that. We must be careful, certainly. But what are your comments when one says, hold on a minute, Kenya fought very hard for the freedom that it has today in terms of the media, and once again we are pulling back. How do we balance? How do we ensure we retain the freedoms and we retain the ability to report on issues, on transparency matters, on corruption, while still respecting and understanding that there are limits when it comes to reporting security matters? How do we deal with that?
It's a question of embracing responsibility. When I covered the Rwanda genocide, for instance, in 1994, we had many instances where you had grim pictures and you wondered where you should use those pictures. There were instances where people mixed people's names. So you said this fellow was minister in this period when they weren't. And we got adequately punished for that, for those ones of us who got things wrong. And the point is that sometimes within our environment, I do not find that there is a sense that people should be responsible for their actions.
You're saying the Kenyan media does not take its responsibility seriously?
There is a great level of laissez-faire at times. The code of ethics, clearly, codes of ethics, in fact, exist within all media houses here. Are they taken seriously? I don't know. If you take the Westgate cases, for instance, where some media houses splashed pictures of grim dead bodies on the front pages, they then acknowledged and apologized and said, look, we were wrong. And yet, only a few months down the line, those same images have returned to the front pages. What does that tell you? It tells you that these people operate without understanding the framework in which you operate when you are at war. If you use those pictures like that, and those pictures are then used by your enemy for recruitment, for campaigns, for fundraising on their websites, then it means that we are aiding terror. If it is the media that appears to enhance the work of terrorists, then the media becomes the enemy.
Wow, those are powerful thoughts there. I, of course, am a stakeholder here and could go back and forth on this issue, but your views are coming in. And somebody says, this is Muthini says that this bill should be passed. It's high time the media become responsible and should stop public sympathy, he says. I'm not sure what he's referring to, but share your views with us. Do you feel the Kenyan media is responsible enough or not? We're open to your comments. Let's quickly go to the question of refugees. We have many refugees in this country, in some places 500,000. The number must be well over 1 million across the country right now. What happens to the refugees in Kenya if this bill passes?
I think the refugees here remain here for the time being, I would say. We are committed, I think, to encourage them to return to their homes. They should be able to look back to their homes and think, yeah, we have a role in building our societies. That would be the positive thing to do. But one of the things that we face, that we are extremely uncomfortable with, is the idea that you can cross the border, enter our country, and you do not need to report immediately, which means that you could come here, commit a crime, walk back, and that's it. And the amendment bill recommends that, in fact, you register immediately you cross into our border, so we know who you are, where you are, and possibly your plans for the period you plan to stay here. Especially if you're looking for political asylum, we need to know immediately. You cannot have a situation where people just walk into your country, don't tell you anything, walk out, and that's it. You can't have that. Also, in terms of our labor laws, For people who are seeking work permits, and I have worked abroad, so I know this is fairly international standard. You get those work permits, you apply and get them before you travel to that country. In our country, you come here first and then apply for it. We have not done proper due diligence. So there is no basis, in fact, for granting you that work permit. We are trying to align these laws so that they meet global standards, so that we are able to deal with the people walking in and out.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, Manoah Esipisu. Your views are coming in hard and fast, and we have hundreds coming in. We'll be reading some of them in just a short while. We're going to take a break, but Manoah, before we take a break, the Al Jazeera exclusive report on death squads. There was a lot of response from the government, calling it an irresponsible story. Are there death squads operating within the government?
Totally not. It was a totally rubbish story from our point of view. We offered Al Jazeera official response. They declined to take one. And when a news organization refuses to take a response, unless it is from the president or the deputy president, then you know that we are talking about an agenda here, an agenda that is only known to themselves.
What is the agenda, do you think? If you're saying there's an agenda.
We can only guess, because if you are running a story and you speak to me and I tell you we are offering you the Interior Principal Secretary for an official response and you decline, and you're running a story about security, then tell me.
Well, with that, we take a break. Stay with Sunday Live. We'll continue with your views on security matters.